Hello and welcome back to the ministry. This is Taj McCameron, and today we are talking about you're too close to your breakthrough. Now, the other day I was on YouTube and I was listening to something. And I've heard this phrase, you're too close to your breakthrough. You're too close to your breakthrough. You're too close to your breakthrough. And then I heard it again and I was like, there's something else there. And the Lord gave me this revelation. A lot of us are too close to our breakthrough. A lot of us are so close to our breakthrough that because we're close to it, we're looking too hard for it. What am I saying? That because we are close to our breakthrough, we are literally looking with such a detailed eye that it's almost as if we're missing it because we're trying to pay so close of attention to it that it literally is right in front of us, but it's like, I'll give you a perfect example. My dad likes to watch Deal or No Deal, right? Every once in a while, they play this game, and in the game that they play in Deal or No Deal, what they do is they do a close up of something. And you have to guess what that thing is because of how close they are to it. When you're close to something, you can see more details to it. But in a lot of cases, what we do, because we know our breakthrough is close, we have a tendency that we start to panic. So because we're close to the breakthrough, I'll never forget, it was a conversation I was watching. I used to watch Tia and Tamara reality show. And I remember, I think it was Tamira was in the closet with her husband having a conversation one morning. And they were literally talking about the fact that there is this element of when you are expecting something or waiting for something, you get close to it. And she and her husband were talking about this baseball analogy. But the point he was trying to make to her is sometimes you need to step back, take a breath, and look with a different eye at it. A lot of us tell the truth. When you get into a season and you know it's your season, it's almost like you get close to your breakthrough and you start spinning around that wall. You start stirring around that wall. It's like the children in the walls of Jericho. You're going to keep walking around that wall until that wall fall. And it's like you are inclined. It's like, this is the season. This is my season. Everybody's saying it's the season. I know this is my season. You feel it's your season. Everything is like, it's your season. It's your season. The breakthrough is right here. It's almost here. And you're like, man, I know it's here, but I can't miss it. I don't want to miss it. And the fact of the matter is, what happens is your energy literally becomes so tightly knit around that thing that you become terrified that you're going to miss it, or that you're going to let it go, or something's going to be lost if you do not pay attention in this moment. You're going to miss the door, the opening. You're gonna miss. You got your eyes open for a what you call it, an attack. It's like you about in 15 different places. A double-minded man is unstable in all of his ways. So you sitting there like, oh my God, I gotta. But the word, let's go to the word. Hold on, let me get you some word here in a second. Scripture. 2 Samuel 5:23. I've been seeing 5:23 everywhere. That means something specific to me. Ignore the fumbling of the tongue. But 2 Samuel 5:23 means there is 2 victories over the Philistine. Now, I'm going to read it in its context. Once again, the Philistine came up and spread out in the valley of Rephaim. So David inquired of the Lord, who answered, "Do not march straight up, but circle around behind them and attack them in front of balsam trees, the balsam trees. As soon as you hear the sound of marching in the tops of the balsam trees, move quickly, because this will mean that the Lord has marched out before you and you to strike the camp of the Philistines." What am I saying? God is trying to get your attention. If you've heard me say before, because I say this a lot, and if you guys are not watching, or shall I say listening to my podcast that is now also available on Apple Podcasts, I have been giving you specific advice, not just on biblical stuff. I'm giving you biblical and business advice because I do all of that. So go watch the podcast as well, or shall I say go listen to it. It's on Apple, Spotify, and Anchor, which is Spotify podcast. But with that being said, I talk about in one of those, I talk about the fact that you have to rest, you plan, you rest, you rejuvenate, and then you go forth. A lot of us have been in this season because God has had us in a resting, because God gave us the plan. We have kind of felt like, well, you gave me the plan, but now I'm supposed to run. And everybody's saying, run, go, buy, this, move, do. And you feel like, oh my God, I'm not moving fast enough. I'm not doing, oh my God, I just finished. But God doesn't work like that. God will sometimes have you do a full run. Perfect example. I've run 2 podcasts, y'all. 2. I actually have a third that I have not established because I haven't figured out what I'm going to do with it yet. But I actually have 3, if I'm honest with you. And he had me do 2 shows. I got both seasons out. Meaning for the new one that is all my biblical stuff, guess what? That's the one I'm talking about. I link in description. And then I have one that's mostly business, for my business-oriented stuff. I do sometimes share podcasts between the business-oriented if I feel that is relevant to this audience. But what happens is, he gave me the entire podcast for both of them. It's been 2 weeks. I recorded all of the podcast episodes, right? So after I did that, I kind of ended up in this mode of, oh my God, now how am I going to promote this? So I ended up in a headspace, and let me just be transparent with you, where I was like, oh my God, what is it that I need to do? How am I going to do this? How am I going to get this out? Where is it that I need to do? I don't want to waste my time, because I'm the type of person that I will go in, I will go hard, and I will promote and push. Pay close attention. That I go in and I push when I am working. And this is the season. Push it, birth it, do it. And it's like that element that we so close to it. It's like, oh my God, I don't know how to do this. Oh my God, I don't know how to do this. How do I do this? I don't know how to do this. Why do I do this? How do I do this? So we're looking from a The element that I'm looking right at it, I'm like, oh my God, because I'm so close to it, I'm like, I see, I just recorded 112 episodes. Oh my God, how am I going to do this? And the Lord is saying, back up. A lot of people are saying, go, move, do this. I remember my coach, 3 years ago, she was referring to a point where she was trying to help one of her clients, and the person had gotten an opportunity, and the person was in a stressful situation, so she felt pressed that she needed to do something. And the coach said, wait. Have you ever noticed in a season when everybody's saying, move, 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 go, 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 this, push, 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 this, that, God will tell you, wait. And you're sitting there like, there's this internal burning sensation in your gut saying, I need to run with everybody else. And God's saying, you wait. And it's like, but I want to run with everybody. You wait. Obedience is better than sacrifice. You have to wait for the answer to come to you. Because, see, let me explain something to you. If you listened to the entire Rhema word I gave on the movie Temptations, if you've been listening to when I say chess moves, because I did another broadcast on the podcast on chess moves, when it comes down to it, you have to come to the understanding that as you're moving towards something, that you have to strategically move. God's been having me play chess. And chess, you just don't run across the board. There may be a position that you're seeking to get to, but you don't run for that position. You wait, you stand in position, you make sure everybody else is in order, especially if you're standing in the queenly position, so on and so forth. You don't run across the board. There may be something that you're preparing to do. Everybody else may be in the running season, but God's saying, I need you because you're submitted to me. And in this season, yes, I know everybody else has got their marching orders. I know everybody else is all this. And because you're seeing what everybody else is doing, you're looking so close at what you got, and you're like, oh my God, I don't know if I can do this. Oh my God, I don't know if I can do this. And God's saying, you wait a second. I'm going to give you the instructions. I know you're looking for them, but I need you to sit still and seek me for revelation. This is the time frame in which you go and get in the presence of God. You're sitting there saying to yourself, I want to get in there. Oh my God. Oh my God. And God say, back up. What do you say? Do not march straight up. Don't go straight in there because your brain is saying, because everybody else is saying, ooh, go, push, go into labor, do. No. David inquired of the Lord. Sit in the presence of God. Ask God what it is that you need to do. Who answered, do not march straight up, but circle around. Now, to us, we're sitting there like, wait a minute, you want me to back away and circle back around? What does that look like? Backing up from the situation and coming back around. In that time it takes for you to come back around, God's going to give you another revelation. What was the revelation? He said, I want you to go to this set of trees, in front of these sets of trees. And then when you hear, I remember I listened to Apostle Youngblood. He did a broadcast. I was sitting in the mall 4 years ago. It's probably been about 4 years now. I was sitting in the mall one morning eating breakfast, and he said, you're going to hear it. Remember when Elijah, he was waiting for the rain. What happened first? He was on his knees in prayer. He kept sending the servant back. He kept sending the servant back. He kept sending the servant back. But then the last time he said, you're going to hear the sound of an abundance of rain. You're going to hear the marching out ahead of you. You're waiting for God to take over this situation. You're waiting for the angelic assistance, the spiritual alignment, the thing to fall into divine spiritual order for this thing to manifest exactly in the way that He desires it to fall into place. And it's going to be, it may be a audible, not so much visual. See, a lot of us panic when we don't see the visuals adding up. What I tell y'all all the time, the enemy does what? He messes with your eyes, what you smell, taste, hear, touch. Mental, emotional, which is the heart, physical, spiritual, your social communication, and your finances. Okay? When you start looking too close, he's messing with what you see. He can also mess with what you hear. Let me tell you a little bit of warfare I was dealing with in the past 24 hours. Let's have a little story time here. Past 24 hours, I had a dream that shouldn't have been a dream I had. It was very inappropriate for a child of God to have. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, God, why did I have this dream? Because this isn't you. I had to get up, wake up, rebuke it, do all of this. Then, at the same time, when I got up, I went out on my porch, I went into rebuke, I went and did all of this. I ended up in a scenario again where there was a whole bunch of stuff being piped into my atmosphere, and I knew it was a spiritual attack. It's coming against the ear, meaning things going on in my atmosphere coming against my ears, whether it be that there's an overload of sound, inappropriate content being piped into my atmosphere, things that aren't of God being added into my atmosphere. And I knew this was the case because I was praying in relation to something, and I knew where the attack comes from normally. And when I put a muzzle on where the attack normally has access, it came through everything else. And the funny part is the individual that it normally comes from was in agreement with where it was coming from. So it almost as if the enemy was giving me the middle finger for having tried to stop that individual from coming against me. Okay? This is how the enemy works. I know what spirit that was. I could call him out, but you know, little Levi, you know, likes to twist words. And it's funny, I've been listening to a couple different broadcasts talking about Levi and Jesse. You know. Because right now it's about the falsities of the prophets that has been coming out.